Hey guys, that time of year again, Christmas lights going up, and you bring them out of storage, and of course one or a couple strands, half the lights work, or none of the lights work on the strand. So in this video here, I'm going to show you a pretty much foolproof way, works every single time that I've done it, to fix LED Christmas lights where half the strand or the whole strand does not work, and you don't need any special tools. The only thing you need is obviously some replacement bulbs and another strand with similar lights. So I'll discuss why that is in just a sec. So let's get to it. So here's what we got here. So this is a full working set. The camera kind of does tricks on you, makes it look like they're not working, but they are. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, so there's a full working set of LED lights here, and then this is the set where only half of them are working. So I'll just unplug it here. You'll see only half it lights up. So if only half of your light string is lighting up, then it is not the fuses in here. If the whole string is not lighting up, the first thing you're going to want to check is the fuse in the end of this plug here, which we'll look at right now. Okay, so in the end of your plug here is two fuses, and you can access them by just a flathead screwdriver. You just push this little door here up out of the way, and that just stays there. And then you can see there's two fuses in here. So the reason I said this might be the case if the whole strand doesn't work is because both of these fuses have to be functioning in order for power to get to these two wires. So you've got, you know, your incoming power and your neutral. So if one of these is burnt out, the whole strand won't work. If only half the strand's working, it's not the fuses, because it means because there's only two wires here, you're getting power to a portion of the strand, so it's likely one of your bulbs. But anyway, to change one of these, you just pop it out with a small flat blade screwdriver here. So you just got to get in behind it and pop it out. Just like that. And so they look like this. And you can tell if they're not working by just looking at them. They'll be sort of burnt. And there's a very, very tiny wire on the inside which essentially acts as the fuse. It will break if it's been overloaded. Usually at the end of your light string, so right here on the light string where the label is, there'll be a couple of spare bulbs and then a couple of spare fuses. So what you're going to want to do is, if one's burnt out, you're going to put a new one back in there, and then hopefully your light set works after that. If it doesn't work after you've replaced the fuses and you know both fuses do work, then we need to move on to looking at the bulbs, which we'll do in a sec. So another way to test these, if you're not confident, if you're looking in there and you're like, oh, I don't know if that little wire is broken, you will need to use a multimeter. So basically you just need to make sure there is continuity between this piece of metal and this piece of metal. And the best way to do that is with a multimeter. So you just put it on the beep setting, touch both leads to each end. If it beeps, you know that power is able to flow through this. But if you're just at home and you don't have all your tools, or you don't have that type of tool, just replacing these is usually fine. So we'll put this one back in. And close the little door. And I'm gonna plug this back in, and you'll see that half my set is still working. So we got to figure out why only half is not working. Okay, so like I said before, on the end of your light string set, there'll be a couple spare bulbs. And basically the reason half this set isn't working is because one of these bulbs is not allowing the power to flow through. And you can't just take out a bulb and then put a bulb that you know works in here, because you could do that through the whole set and it could be more than one bulb that doesn't work. So you could do that all day and you would never figure out if it's working or not, and then that's where you get frustrated and end up throwing it out. So what you need to do, and this is why the other light set is super handy, is you need to have a working light set, and you have to have your light set that either doesn't work or half of it works. And you need to start with the first bulb, take it out, and then go to your working light set, take out the bulb, and you're going to use this one on the left as a tester. You can buy these testers, but again, it's not really necessary if you have another strand. You can buy them on Amazon, that type of thing. They are super handy, but you don't need it. So we're just going to put it in here. And if this light strand lights back up, then you know for sure this bulb isn't the culprit. And you can go ahead and put it back in. And one thing I should point out, so with these newer light strand sets, you'll find that the first socket in each set is actually a bigger socket. So it'll have 2 wires going in one side and 1 coming out the other. You can't just put one of the main string bulbs into this socket because it won't work. So this is probably one of the most important ones to check, because this one will only fit into this one. You can't take this bulb and put it into this. It won't work out because the plug's not the same size. So just keep that in mind. If for whatever reason you found out that the first big socket was the one that was the culprit, usually they don't give you that one on your little spare bulb set. So what you're unfortunately going to have to do there is you're going to have to pull this clear bulb off, and then in there will be the actual, let me just get one here, will be the actual LED. And so you're just going to fold back the wires. This one, yeah, so this one has a broken wire, but you fold back the wire, pull this LED out, and you can just actually put just the LED into that socket, put it in, and you should be good to go. Some of the LED lights actually have the LED, and then you'll find there'll be a little sort of tubular shaped thing right here, which is a resistor. And you'll have to make sure you put that in as well if you have the type of lights that have a little resistor. I don't actually have one of those, but I have seen it, so that you just have to keep that in mind. You can't always just put the LED, and you might need the resistor on one of the legs as well. So anyway, let's get back to checking these. Okay, so we're going to move to the second light in our non-working set, and it has the standard socket. So we're going to pull this out, and we're going to pull out the standard socket of the working set. You'll see the lights go out. And then we're going to take that bulb we took out of the non-working set, and we're just going to put it in. Okay, we know it works. Put it back into this set. Then we're going to move to the next one of the non-working set. And we're going to just keep using the same socket on the working set just as a tester. Okay, so we're good. And unfortunately, it is a bit tedious, but at least this way you know every bulb you're checking for sure works. Okay, so right there, so this bulb that I pulled out of the non-working set doesn't actually light up this strand. So we know that this bulb or this resistor or something about this bulb doesn't work. So what we'll do is we'll just put that off to the side, and we'll take a working bulb from the working strand. Well, actually, we'll take the one we just took out, and we'll put it in here. And you'll find that, oh, the strand works now, because you've taken a working bulb and put it into the strand, and now it works. Okay, so we got lucky on this strand. It was only one bulb that was burnt out. So if you went along and you just pulled out a bulb, put in a fresh bulb, and then went to the next one, pulled out a bulb, pulled in a fresh bulb, this would actually make the strand work, and the testing method you wouldn't need to actually do that. But let's say you had a strand with 2 bulbs that weren't functioning. So let me just like mimic that. Let me take out 2 bulbs, and I'll put in 2 non-functioning bulbs. So this one and this one. And then these could be anywhere in the strand. But let's say you're going through, okay, so you're checking it like we were doing. So we're going to move it over to this working strand here. We're going to try the bulb. Okay, we realize it doesn't work. So we get a working bulb, we put it in, and the strand obviously still doesn't work because there's one more bulb in here that doesn't work. So let's move to the next one, we'll take it out, put it in. Okay, it doesn't work. Okay, so now we know that bulb's no good. Let's get a new bulb, let's put it in here. And now we have, oh, wrong one. Put it in here. And now we have a full working set. So if you just did the replace the bulb method, you could go through the whole strand and you'd never know which one it is because there's more than one. So this way works pretty much every time. The only situation where you would go through the whole strand replacing busted bulbs and then it didn't work, and you couldn't get the set to light up, is if you took this out and you put a working bulb in where a non-working bulb was, and it stood you did that through the whole strand, so everything, all the bulbs are good, then there's something wrong with the socket. So you really have to go through and you have to look at each socket. If you know you have a working bulb and it's not it's not basically making continuity between the two posts, you know that there's some corrosion or something happening inside the socket, which doesn't happen that often, but it has happened to me, but it's quite rare. So hopefully these couple of tips helped you guys out. And yeah, it's just, you know, less stuff in the landfill, that type of thing, and you know, you save some money. So thanks for watching.